Well, is Donald Trump dropping out of the race? He didn't say so, but I'm already picking up hints on this because why is he so afraid of little baby Megan Kelly over here? This is baby Megan Kelly. I guess this when she was a little girl. She was being a pole dancer or something. I don't know what the hell. This is her right now. So, anyway, why is he so scared of her on Fox News? I'm being unfairly treated. But, I was saying, what I was maintaining pretty much from the beginning was that I figured Donald Trump was a ringer for Hillary Clinton. And now, I know there's been rumors about Hillary Clinton. She's getting in trouble now. I've been hearing she's in trouble now for the last 20 years or more. Same with Bill Clinton. Yeah, they're in trouble now. They're going to get him now. But the one thing I realized where she's sunk now for real is that George Soros has pulled his backing from Hillary Clinton, and he put it on Bernie Sanders. He said he ain't betting on that old horse, Hillary's going on the other old horse, Bernie. So he's got his whole Move On organization directed to go on to, Bernie Sanders. And I put a video out on that, a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever that was, right? And I said, that to me is really, when the money starts moving away from you, I'm thinking, holy shit. Even though Goldman Sachs is still behind Hillary Clinton, which I'm going to get to on that shit. But I figured he was a ringer for her because I would have trusted him. I would have trusted Donald Trump if he was conservative all his life, if he was criticizing the Clintons all his life. But he's only been doing that the last couple of years. From like 1992 on, Bill Clinton was the greatest president in the world according to him. They were buddy-buddy. Hillary Clinton was a great senator. And in the last couple of years, he changed his tune. So I was like, something ain't adding up with this guy. And actually, he was a guy, and back in 2000, he was an advocate of assault weapons bans, which is actually a semi-automatic rifle ban that has a black plastic and a pistol grip on it or some crap, an ordinary rifle. He was for banning that. And in 2012, he was highly critical of Mitt Romney, for being harsh on the immigrants. Then he's talking about he's going to build a wall. So, see, you can say anything. I could tell you, like, I'm going to do this. It's like you remember the old cliche, a chicken, they used to say this is one of the campaign slogans way back when, a chicken in every pot. Well, how are you going to do that, right? And it's cool to even say that stuff if that's what you really stand for. But he never used to stand for this for most of his life. He was really, really left liberal leaning, and all of a sudden he went ultra-right conservative in the last couple of years. I assumed that he was going to run as an independent against, both other parties, which would do the same thing that Ross Perot's independent candidacy did to the Bush, the Herbert Walker Bush campaign and made Bill Clinton win. I figured that's what he was going to do. That's really what he was pulling. Because he would not be, I don't think he'd be the Republican nominee under any circumstance. Now he's like, I'm not going to take part in a debate in Iowa. And I was like, dude, something ain't right here. This guy doesn't back down from a fight. You could disagree with me, but, and I don't want to say too much, but I've been around enough of these type of people to know that, man, they can lie better than a rug. All of them are like that. I mean, like, with Bill Clinton, he can go around, freaking molesting some woman or something like that, and then he can make a speech on, did you like my speech on women's rights? After he walked out of the bathroom just molesting some woman or something. They could say anything, man. They could say anything. But at least even if you're saying something, you're consistent about it for like 20, 30 years. But he hasn't. Donald Trump actually has not been consistent about. He's been consistent about a couple things, like maybe trade imbalance and stuff like that. But he's not been consistent on a lot of issues over the last 20, 30 years. Not at all. As a matter of fact, he's been a New York City liberal pretty much. And, I don't know how the hell all of a sudden he turned. What was his Paul Saul moment when he just turned into the conservative right wing? I mean, what happened? I really do think it was the Hillary phenomenon. Now, she is sunk. I think, because of not ju- well, she's probably going to be indicted, maybe. But when the money is starting to back away from her, like Soros, I'm thinking that's it. That's really what matters. Hey, Soros is not betting on you anymore, honey. You're done. I figured that. So why does Trump need to run? That's what I was assuming. He's in there to freaking split the vote of the Republican side, so she gets in. So he's acting like I don't want to play the game anymore. He's actually saying that. I could be wrong about this. Okay, fine, I'm wrong, but I got to tell you what I really think, and I could tell you I've been around this type of people, and actually I got more of a devious mind than most of these kind of people. No problem. I could play the game worse than they can, but I got a integrity streak in me. That's the other difference. That's the difference. That's the difference. I could read what these guys do, but I could tell you though, this is really, and this is the problem though. You could rejoice that Hillary Clinton's not going to be nominated. I don't think she's going to be nominated for the Democratic Party. She's like, all of a sudden since Soros pulled his support away from Hillary, Bernie Sanders comes up from out of nowhere. And then Bloomberg wants to get in there. I told you about that. Now Bloomberg's talking about it because, Hillary was the choice of Goldman Sachs. Hillary's the choice of Wall Street all the way. And Bernie Sanders, even though he's like a socialist guy, he would really tear up Wall Street, man. There's no bullshit about that. If he won the presidency, there's a lot of stuff I don't like about Bernie Sanders. He thinks like government grants the rights to human beings, and where that's not true. But the guy really does have his heart in the right place for the most part. He really would tear up Wall Street. And Wall Street doesn't want Bernie Sanders. They want Hillary Clinton. She's the Wall Street candidate. So Trump was, I think, you get mad at me, but, I'm telling you, if you look back at what Trump used to be about way back, and he loved the Clintons, now he hates them in the last 2 years. But Hillary is definitely, she's got too much heat on her now, so Soros is backing away. Goldman Sachs isn't backing away. They're still paying her $300,000 for a 20-minute speech. But here's the crux of the problem. You're looking at this bitch here, or whatever you want to call her. It's like, say she just goes away, she dies of brain cancer or something. Personally, I got a better freaking solution for her. I'll tell you about it at the end. A much better thing for her, man. Much, much better. But say, for instance, she just doesn't win, she's gone, whatever. Fine. The problem's not solved. The problem is, Wall Street's giving money to their henchmen to freaking do their bidding. And the way to solve that is people got to pull their money out of Wall Street. And the other thing is, it's interesting, is if Hillary goes, Uma's done. Huma Aberdeen and her staff, they're done. And they ought to get, if they indict Hillary, they ought to get after this shit, too. Because I don't even know how the hell this lady got appointed a, what do you call it, a special position in the State Department. Her special position was with Hillary Clinton in the bedroom, you know what I mean? That's what her special position was. How the hell, look at all the crap that this lady was, that she was, she had access to secret information. And, her connections to the Muslim Brotherhood. They ought to just, not only, well, they probably are. They're probably going after all of Hillary's aides and everybody associated with her, too, which is good, because that'll uproot a lot of the problem. But the main problem is actually coming from Wall Street. Now, here's the way to fix this. And you know what? These conservative idiots don't do this. They invest their money with J.P. Morgan Chase. They invest their money with Morgan Stanley. They invest their money with Credit Suisse. They invest their money with Goldman Sachs or whatever, Mellon Bank or whatever, the old names, Mellon Blank. Maybe some people have never heard of Mellon Bank. They're the oldest one around. They invest all their money in there. Anybody that got big bailouts with, they invest their money in Warren Buffett's fund and everything. You know what I mean? Don't invest your money in any of that stuff. And if you don't know where to put your money, you're probably better off buying precious metals, because I tell you what, when this thing goes up in smoke, This crap is going to be like vaporware. That's what it's going to be. But the thing is, the fact that the conservative middle class of any kind of means or some sizable wealth keep investing their money in the people that are funding things they hate, well, I don't understand it. Why can't you see this? Oh, no. Because you know what? The Wall Street puts on a conservative front. They are behind all this socialistic bullshit. I don't want to call it liberal because liberal actually is not a dirty word. Liberal is a good word if you use it in a true sense. It's actually like socialistic control freak. You know, we control society, we're the elite. You know, the liberal word doesn't really mean what it turned into today. Liberal to me, you know, I know they know how to use the word libertarian, but actually the word liberal was actually a good word. And if you actually use it, the real way it's defined in an English dictionary originally, it's actually a good thing. People allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do as long as you're not pissing on anybody else's parade or screwing up their rights or whatever. You know, that's what liberal is. I'm liberal like that all the way. You know, nonchalant. I don't care. Do whatever you want, right? I'm gonna make no freaking rule book about anything. But these New York type liberals are control freaks, you know. Bloomberg, he's talking about running for office. You know, what he's going to do? Outlaw 44-ounce big gulps. We're going to probably have a new Al Capone bringing in big gulps into the city, and it's be like prohibition with Bloomberg. You know, if this guy, well, you know what it is? They're worried because now they realize they're going to have a Republican that might not be too friendly to Wall Street, possibly on a ticket. And I don't think it'll be Donald Trump. Now, if Ted Cruz gets in there, Ted Cruz is supposedly, you know, a Tea Party candidate, but the fact that his wife works for Goldman Sachs, and the fact that he took millions and millions of dollars from Goldman Sachs, and the fact that Ted Cruz even supports the Trans-Pacific Partnership, we're screwed, man. Even Rand Paul freaking supports the freaking Trans-Pacific Partnership. We got pretty much, you know, I mean, well, it's good that Hillary's not going to, I don't think she's going to be around, and she's going to be in there. And so I'm saying, I'm maintaining that. You're going to start seeing a lot more hints of Donald kind of like talking, well, the business end, there's different priorities. In the political end, I'm finding out there's other priorities. And I'm being treated unfairly in the, in the debate by Megyn Kelly. Yeah, well, if Hillary was still running, he'd be debating. Then he would say he wasn't treated fairly by the Republican Party when he wouldn't be nominated because he was mostly a registered Democrat. They're not going to nominate him. And other reasons. I mean, you got to at least have a couple years of something. Maybe it was a couple years as a governor, something, anything, you know. You're not going to just jump from businessman to president. Nobody does that. You got to have something. Even if you were mayor, if something, right? Anything. But nah, you don't, it isn't, you're not CEO of a corporation when you're in Washington, D.C., even though there is a lot of corporate cronyism. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to, I think he's backing out. But, the real problem is, it's way beyond the politicians, as you know. It's the banksters. They don't get slammed. But, why did the conservative, most anybody would, you see, like if you look in the United States, where's the money flowing? Like, you got people working their ass off that don't have any money to save, right? They say, why is the savings rate of Americans so low? Well, they got nothing to save because they're basically just got enough to freaking get by. And then you got other people that are on the grain dole. You got people that are getting government subsistence and stuff. They're not, they got no political clout. Actually, the only ones that have political clout are the ones that are savvy, extreme workaholics that were like the true backbone of America, that were like small business owners maybe, or maybe professional people. But for the most part, those people are not liberal-leaning, for the most part. But where do they freaking invest their money? Like, the stronger middle class? They invest their money in all the too big to fails. They invested in Warren Buffett's fund. They invested in the Soros fund, whatever. They invested with all these people. They invested in all these large, Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Mellon Bank, and Credit Suisse, and Wells Fargo, whatever. And all these people, and it's not the institutions, but all the people that are in charge of these institutions are giving heavily to Hillary Clinton, giving her money for a campaign, and also like 300 grand to speak for 20 minutes. Man, that must be pretty wild. I could speak for 20 minutes, no problem, man. I could probably tell you a lot more better stuff than that yo-yo lady could. So anyway, but they ain't gonna pay me 300 grand because you know why? I'll be telling them the wrong shit. But I could take 300 grand from them. I know that. I could do it anytime I want. I just think of these people like they're my bankers. They're holding my money. If you get my drift. Anyway, so you got Jamie Dimon, you got Goldman, Lloyd Blankfein, you got other crooks, and I don't really care, about what happens with these guys at all. To tell you the truth, I know it's like, some people would say, well, that's our whole freaking financial system. Well, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. It maybe it's the financial system, but when you're looking at really what makes America work, it's true nuts and bolts. It's like roadways, dams, irrigation, electric utilities, natural gas piping, railways, right? Shipping, docking, warehousing, retail stores, people that repair things like plumbers and roofers and framers and mechanics and people that do agriculture and farming. These people in the financial institutions, they don't do any of that. Back in the 1800s, these people were very much in a minority. Even though there was big railroads and big oil coming on, these people in pursuits were very much in the minority. It was the laborers and the farmers that were vastly in the majority. Now you got these people in the majority with all their bureaucratic support. Well, I'm going to tell you, though, people got to quit investing in these people, and then you're not going to have a problem. So I wanted to tell you first off that I don't think Trump is now, I think he's now backing away from running for the presidency. I don't think he wants to bother with it. And it's not even like, he doesn't want to even make his numbers look too damn good when he gets, if he's backing off because of Megyn Kelly, I'm like thinking, he is way more vocal and too much of a fighter to be backing off from Megyn Kelly. Now, I can make a remark and say, well, if you back off from Megyn Kelly, what are you going to do with, Vladimir Putin or some strong world leader? You're going to run and hide because you don't like the guy or something? No, he's not really. He doesn't want to be president now. I mean, I don't think he ever wanted to be president. What he was doing was he was running because he was going to split off as a third party because I know the Republicans would have never nominated this guy in a million years. And he's saying all this ultra-white right-wing stuff to split the right Republican Party so Hillary would win. But she's sunk. She's sunk. And not because of the FBI investigation. Well, I guess maybe it is, partly. But really, that caused the FBI investigation and all the looming indictments that are possibly coming up against maybe Huma Aberdeen, too, is making George Soros to bet on Bernie Sanders. So when that happened, I already know her ass is cooked. It's done. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm making an analytical prediction here, and I think I got it right, but I could be wrong. Okay, but I don't think I am. I think I had Trump pegged from day one. And the fact that he's backing away from Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, you got to be kidding me, man. If I was in that, I'd laugh at this shit. So she, if I was in a Fox News debate and this bitch was giving me a hard time, I'd be like, I'd tear her up. I wouldn't care. I'd have a lot of fun with it, to tell you the truth. And that's exactly how Donald Trump is. Actually, that's really the real Donald Trump. He's not scared of her. He's not saying I'm being untreated fairly and I'm not going to bother. He's realizing, I think, that Hillary Clinton's sunk. He's seeing the writing on the wall. So he's slowly backing away from the bid for the presidency, which would have been You know, the whole deal, I think, in the beginning was that he was going to run independent. She, you know, she might not even be alive. Now, here, I'm going to tell you what I think we ought to do with Hillary Clinton. When she's found guilty, we ought to send her to Sweden and have her stay in one of those refugee asylums. Not even a prison, not even an American prison. You could stay in one of those refugee American asylums in Sweden with all the Muslim immigrants that you like, and you can make speeches to them and see how they treat you. I think that'll be a perfect punishment for her. What do you think, huh? I mean, she wouldn't even be in prison. I mean, why have the hardship of going to prison? Why not just go to one of those Muslim refugee camps in Sweden, right? Anyway, that's my freaking update for, I don't know. I mean, I really do think I see some. I'm probably the only one saying this stuff like this. I don't think anybody else is saying what I'm saying. I mean, I realize that Hillary Clinton is sunk. I mean, I said that as soon as Soros dropped the backing on her and says, that's it, she's done. So I says, well, let me see if Trump starts backing away from the presidency now. Well, I'm not going to debate because Hillary. I'm not going to debate in Iowa now because Fox News with Megyn Kelly's treating me unfairly. Well, you know how politics is just different from business, and he's already like starting to waffle. And I'm saying this guy is not waffle. He's got no mission anymore. I think his mission was to split the vote with the Republicans, so Hillary's in. So now he'll just fade away. I think. We shall see. He'll make some noise, but the whole thing has been noise. You got to look carefully at where he was standing on immigration and gun control and a lot of other issues before, prior to the last 2 years and going all the way back. He was a Clinton. He was a registered Democrat, and he was buddy with the Clintons, and he praised the hell out of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Playing golf with him all the time. If he was so diametrically opposed to him on the issues, he wouldn't have been buddy with him for like over 20 years. It's just that simple. I know a lot of people want to believe what he's saying, but I would believe it if he was consistent for the freaking last 20-something years, but he's not. He's never been consistent. The only time he's been consistent from 92 to about 2012, 2013, and then from about the last 2 years, he took a 180-degree turnaround on most issues, and he's been consistent on that. In business is it's not 90% sales, but a good part of it is sales, and a lot of things in sales is bullshit. I mean, I don't dislike this guy or nothing like that, really, but it's like, I don't know. I just hope I'm not deflating somebody's, people are getting mad at me because they're realizing, oh, this guy, we loved him, and he's saying, yeah, I know he's saying all the stuff you want him to say, but is he really that way? When did he really change? 2 years ago? Is that like his attorney says, Cohen, well, he's got a right to change his mind. Why did he change his mind? And if he really did change his mind, say he became president. I don't know. I don't think he wants to run anymore. Like I said, his mission's done. Hillary ain't going to be in there, it looks like, so he's going to start backing away. Now, the thing is, if he did become president, what would stop him from changing his mind back to, like, I love freaking everything Clinton did, because that's why I supported him all those years. And, this guy's also been talking about bringing back the Patriot Act stronger. So, yeah, I know. We don't have much of a choice. But there are some choices we don't want for sure. And that is Hillary Clinton. And, maybe we'll take, what's her face, Ann Coulter or something, whatever. That's another one. Maybe we could take her, right? We'll take her as president. But as far as these guys are nothing but a bunch of, and even, I'll tell you this, even you're talking about Trump You know, how do you think he made his business empire? By basically, you know, sales pitching a lot of his real estate, why people go there and get this big, you know, special, like, oh, you went to the Trump Plaza, oh, I'm in here, and you tell everybody this, and something special about it. You know, why do people even invest in freaking Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and stuff? A lot of stuff is a big sales pitch. 99% of the time, they're blowing smoke up your wazoos, man. That's the reality situation. And the way I look at it is, you always just take your damn money, not give it to any of these jerks. And it's one reason I'm an advocate of physical precious metals. Because you're not dealing with this shit. All right? I mean, even though it's going down, you're still not helping these jerks. You're not helping these jerks. That's the way I look at it.